Hello, thank you for joining me today as you learn all about college and financial aid. My name is Jackie Berry, and I'm an outreach presenter from the Minnesota Office of Higher Education. In a moment, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can follow along as I give you lots of useful information. Our hope is that by the end of the presentation, you will be able to find a way to make college more affordable for you. Now we're going to take a look at a sample award letter. Let's break it down. So as you can see, this is an award letter for St. Cloud State University. First, they break it down by the amount of tuition and fees for this fall and spring semester along with your yearly total. Then they tell you how much your housing is going to be along with your meal plan and books and supplies. This gives you your total charge for the entire school year. Next, they let you know how your financial aid breaks down for the year. In this case, you would have Pell Grants, a Minnesota State grant, and scholarships and other that decrease the amount of money that you owe. Next, they look at your total charges, then they subtract your total financial aid, and they give you an estimate of how much you owe before applying any loans. Finally, they apply different loans. You may have subsidized, unsubsidized, or a combination of each. In this example, there's a combination of each. Once that's subtracted, then they give you your total remaining balance. So for this student, in the fall semester, they would have to come up with $939, and in the spring semester, they would have to come up with $540. That means for the entire school year, out of pocket, they would have to pay $1,879. Now, keep in mind, this does not include money for transportation or personal expenses, so that would also be something that you'd need to pay for. It also lets you know when your payments are due. We're also going to look at one from Bethel College. So, Bethel University, here they give you your estimated bill, so the amount you would owe for the entire year. Then they subtract any amount of gift aid or financial aid and any other assistance that you may have. This gives you your estimated annual amount that you would owe. So similar to St. Cloud State, they break it down. This student was receiving a scholarship, a grant, a music performance piece of financial aid, a Pell Grant, and a Minnesota State grant. That's their total amount of gift aid. Then they add any kind of assistance, scholarships, employer reimbursement, military education benefits, or etc. Finally, they add on your loans. So for this student, they would have to come out of pocket $2,500 in order to go to school for 1 year at Bethel University. How families are paying for college, 2018 and 2019. 43% of costs were covered by family savings and income. 31% of costs were covered by scholarships and grants. 24% of costs were covered by borrowing. And 2% of costs are covered by friends and family. So as you can see, there's lots of different ways to pay. And if you plan for it in the correct way, you may not be having to bring a lot to the table. Managing the cost of college. 98% of students are taking steps to make college more affordable. So 4 out of 5 of them attend college in their home state to lower costs. Later on, we will talk about what reciprocity is. But if you do attend a school in a different state that you are not a resident in, you may end up having to pay a non-resident fee, which is much more expensive. Doesn't matter, it's still doable, and there's great experience that comes from going to school in a different state, so don't let that be an obstacle for you. 77% of students work at least part of the year. 49% of students live at home. 1 out of 3 choose to attend a community college first, and then they move on to a 4-year college to earn their bachelor's degree. So you can go to a community college to get your general education requirements, and then you can move on to a 4-year college to get your bachelor's degree. 62% cut down on their own personal spending. They create a budget for themselves and they stick to it. This is something you can start practicing while you're in high school so that you're good at it when you get to college. and 27% are working toward earning their degrees faster. This information came from the Sally Mae website. Building financial literacy at home. It's very important that at a young age you talk to your child about money. Talk with them about needs versus wants and the cost for each, why it's more important to put money towards needs than it is towards wants. Think back to your teenage years. What do you wish someone had taught you then about money that you can teach your child now? Be sure to have that conversation. Make your spending choices clear. For example, when grocery shopping, let your child know why you buy a certain brand and how to compare the prices of each. Use money language at home. Talk about budget, credit cards, debt, expenses, income, interest, and savings. The next time you get a credit card offer in the mail, review it with your student or your child and explain how the interest works. For students who were foster youth, there is the Education and Training Voucher. This is a federal grant given to states to administer to youth who have aged out of the foster care system and are under the age of 26. They must be enrolled in a college, university, or vocational training program. You can receive up to $5,000 per school year, which can be used to pay for the following: tuition, books, and housing, childcare, transportation, and living expenses, or other school-related costs. How it works is you pay for the expenses up front, and then you send in your receipts and you are reimbursed. You can visit this website for more information. Thank you so much for joining me today as you learned more about college and financial aid. I hope that it was helpful and that you are able to figure out how to make college doable for you and your family.